The title of this sermonette is A Push on the Tush. And the title came from when I was hiking in Acadia National Park in Maine. Acadia has pink granite mountains, and lower areas are all tree covered. Well, I started on this hike climb, and most of the hikes are also include climbing where you have to pull yourself up. But I was hiking along, and while I was in the forest section, about 15, 20 or a half hour into the hike, I saw this tree. And I said, wow, look at that tree. And it was, must have been devastated by a lightning strike. And then I kind of looked up to see what was left at the top. And lo and behold, the whole thing was green. So it had survived that devastating strike. And so I wondered, well, we each go through trials and troubles that are really devastating. And we've survived. We're still here. I thought, well, that would be a good topic for a sermonette, but I didn't know how to develop it. So I continued hiking. I got out of the tree zone, and I was walking on this ledge. And remember, pink granite mountains. And what they did was they kind of drill out a ledge that's maybe 18 to 24 inches wide, and you're walking on this granite ledge, slowly ascending to the top of the mountain. So I'm ascending, and then all of a sudden there's a problem, because instead of the slowly ascending, suddenly there was a big jump, and there was a piece of granite, well, not just a piece of granite, the trail suddenly elevated to about the height of this podium. Says it, well, this is a problem. I'm an old guy. Young guys can get up there. Old guys have some. So I figured, well, I'll put my hands and just try and leap up. Unfortunately, because of the height, was exactly wrong for my arms. I had no arm push. It was just legs. So I gave it a jump, and I wasn't even close. I said, now I got a problem. It's hour and a half to 2 hours back. I look to my right, cliff, granite cliff. And I look to my left, granite mountain. I said, well, let me look. Maybe there's some pieces of granite here I can pile up and get like a little elevation. Nothing. I was out of luck. So I figured, well, what am I going to do at this point? And that brought to mind a Bible verse, which has come in handy at many times. You can turn there. It's Isaiah 40, verse 31. Now, if you're young, you'll blow right past this, and it won't mean a whole lot. And as you get older, it increases in meaning. When you reach my age, it's one of my favorite verses. It's right up there with the resurrection. So let's take a look at Isaiah 40, 31. Good memory verse here. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Well, I like the part about renewing the strength. So I figure, well, this is a good time to pray, because I'm not going to make this one on my own. I can't get up this high. So I prayed, and this is just about the actual words I said in the prayer. Almighty God, you can see my problem. I didn't expect that there would be this granite chunk of elevation in the trail. I got a cliff on my right. I got a mountain on my left. And I got an 18 to 24 inch ledge. And I've got nothing else that I could stand on. So could you please send the angel to give me a push on the tush to make it up this elevation? I thank God for answering the prayer. And I said, okay, well, I figure maybe I better do a 1, 2, 3 count so that the angel and I are pushing at the exact same time, because it wouldn't work if we were pushing differently. So I said, okay, 1, 2, 3, and up I went, and I was a little short, and then all of a sudden I cleared with one knee and pulled myself up. But I said, well, this is a good time to thank God. I figured I also ought to thank the angel because it's probably not in his job description. And I was really very thankful, and I realized I now had the first point in the sermonette. Because we will face obstacles, but God has given us promises to get through those obstacles. So God will see us through, but we have to do our part. Remember, Isaiah 40:31 said, but those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. So our part is to wait on the Lord, and he has promised to renew our strength. And when you get in that kind of jam, just go back to Isaiah 40:31 and ask God for that promise. You know, we all hit unforeseen obstacles, and that's what I saw, an unforeseen obstacle. It wasn't in any of the trail guides. You know, and we all get tired and we all get discouraged. And we all face problems. But God has promised to strengthen us, physically as well as spiritually. And we have to call upon this promise when we are in need. And that granite obstacle is a perfect example of it. Well, I had the first part of this sermonette, I didn't have anything else. And a while went by, several months, and went back to Hinsdale congregation. And then the second part came from an opening prayer that one of the gentlemen in the church gave. Because in his opening prayer, he was praying for mercy from God. I said, I didn't say, I thought to myself, well, that obstacle that I faced was unforeseen. But when we ask for mercy, it's because we should have foreseen something, or we made a mistake, and we've all made some really big mistakes. And now we're going to have to face some consequences, but we need God's mercy. And he's promised us that mercy. In Psalm 18:25 is one example. And if you do a Bible search for mercy, you'll see plenty. But this is just one of them. Psalm 18:25 says, with the merciful, you will show yourself merciful. With the blameless, you will show yourself blameless. So the key is with the merciful. If we show mercy to others, we now qualify for God's mercy. It continues with a blameless man, you will show yourself blameless. But that's a key point. We're going to make mistakes. We've said things we wish we didn't say. We've done things we wish we didn't do. We've gotten ourselves in positions that we shouldn't have gotten ourselves into. We should have had foresight, been able to plan for it. But God is merciful. And we need that mercy to get through the problem that we caused. And God has promised to help us, with the stipulation that we are also show mercy to others. So you can call on that promise. And it's important to call on that promise, because without it, we're in a real jam. Now you take these first 2 points, that God will provide strength and energy when we need it, that push on the tush, and he will show us mercy when we need it. But what's the foundation of these two? What puts them together so that they work as one entity together? And the answer to that is faith. Faith is the basis for calling upon God's mercy and asking him for strength. Now, faith is not something that you can store in a bank account and draw on it whenever you need it. Matthew summed it up when he quoted, in his quote from Matthew 9, verse 29, then he touched their eyes, saying, according to your faith, let it be to you. So according to our faith, we can claim God's mercy. And according to our faith, we can claim the strength of the promise in Isaiah 40:31. And so we need to be praying for faith as we go through each of the difficult trials that we will be going through. And all of us will be going through those difficult trials for as long as we live. You know, we will each face very difficult and seemingly impossible obstacles in our life. No matter how hopeless it seems, God has made us promises to see us through as long as we do our part. So we have to pray for faith, and with that faith, He will provide us with the strength that we need, with the energy that we need, and with mercy to help us through each of these individual trials, because He will be merciful to us. We need to approach Him in truth, and through it, grow in faith. No matter how bad a situation becomes, God is there for us, and when we need it, we will get that push on the tush.